a young man urinated on a Buddha head, but little did he know. The Buddha statue in the temple shed 2 lines of tears. The monk sensed trouble upon seeing this, because tears from the Buddha statue foretell of something bad happening. Meanwhile, an old man working in the field suddenly noticed that black rain started falling from the sky. Curiously, the old man stood up to take a look. The once clear sky instantly became filled with dark clouds. Little did they know, all these strange occurrences were related to that Buddha head. It happened last night. The villagers of Jinyang village were excavating and unearthed a Buddha head. The Buddha head was about 3 meters tall. Its eyes were covered with gauze wrapped in Tibetan script. Its appearance was incredibly eerie. However, at the moment when the Buddha head was unearthed, crows from several tens of miles away flew over. But the village chief didn't notice anything wrong. Instead, he believed that it was a treasure bestowed upon Jinyang village by the heavens. So, he wanted to make a fortune out of this Buddha head. Little did he know that this foolish decision would bring a huge disaster to the villagers of Jinyang village. The next day, the village chief arranged for his men to transport the Buddha head to an exhibition hall. Before the departure, the young man cleaned the Buddha head with clear water, but somehow, the gauze wrapped around the Buddha's eye suddenly disappeared. However, the young man didn't pay much attention. After cleaning the Buddha head, he drove to the exhibition hall. After delivering the Buddha head, the young man went to a restaurant. He wanted to have a drink and relax for a while. He thought a little alcohol would help him unwind. But suddenly, he felt his eyes dry and itchy. The young man thought there might be something dirty in his eyes, so he immediately went to the restroom to clean them. But at that moment, he suddenly heard a familiar voice behind him. He turned around and saw his father, who had passed away many years ago. His father opened his mouth and asked him for money. The young man was instantly covered in cold sweat from fear. In a panic, he pushed his father to the ground. Then he quickly fled the restroom. But little did he know, when he escaped, his father instantly appeared in front of him again. The young man was so scared that he sat on the ground. He saw his father slowly approaching him, with a suddenly menacing expression on his face. In a state of urgency, the young man grabbed a bottle of alcohol and smashed it towards his father. Then he went crazy, brutally beating his father on the ground. Only when the young man regained consciousness did he realized that he had actually attacked the restaurant owner. Meanwhile, all the villagers of Jinyang village gathered at the village committee, because the black rain that fell today destroyed all the crops they had worked hard to grow for a year. So the villagers sought the help of the village chief. Soon, the village chief arrived. He advised everyone not to panic, and he stated that farming only earns a few bucks a year. Then he presented his plan for the village. He told everyone that he plans to develop tourism in Jinyang village. The villagers were a bit confused after hearing this. The village chief continued to explain. They discovered a Buddha head in the mountains behind the village last night. Because the Buddha head is a rare treasure, he plans to use it to make money. The Buddha head has already been sent to the exhibition hall. By using the Buddha head as an attraction, they can attract tourists from other places to visit. That can drive the economy of Jinyang village. The village chief made a solemn promise to everyone. When the village earns money from it, compensation will be given to everyone immediately. However, as soon as the words fell, a man wielding a sickle rushed in. His eyes were bloodshot, and he shouted that everyone present was a monster. One of the villagers thought the man was causing trouble, so he went forward to drive him away. But the man didn't say a word. He just swung the sickle towards him. Immediately, the entire hall descended into chaos. The villagers were scared and fled everywhere. Before everyone could react, someone suddenly jumped off the building to commit suicide. As the riots occurred, some villagers also began to lose their sanity. They killed anyone they saw, like zombies. The village chief saw this and quickly led the surviving villagers into the exhibition hall. However, at this moment, a deranged villager suddenly bit the village chief's leg. In a state of emergency, a young man forcefully pulled the villager off. Without hesitation, he directly killed the deranged villager. To prevent the frenzied villagers from barging in, everyone immediately blocked the door with random objects. At this moment, someone had doubts. The reason for the villagers going mad might be related to the black rain. He believed that the black rain must carry some kind of virus. As soon as this statement was made, everyone present immediately became nervous, because many people had been drenched in the black rain. If it's true, anyone present could potentially go mad at any moment. At this point, everyone started to suspect whether the people around them were infected. For safety reasons, the village chief decided to temporarily tie up the person who was drenched in black rain. Tie them up for the time being, to prevent them from going crazy and harming others. But there was a young lad who didn't cooperate, so he ended up getting into a fight with the village chief's followers. However, in the midst of their scuffle, they accidentally smashed the display case of the Buddha's head. But at this moment, nobody knew yet that the reason causing the villagers to go crazy wasn't the black rain. Instead, it was this Buddha's head. Anyone who locks eyes with the Buddha's head, not only will they be cursed, but they will also become like the insane villagers, engaging in rampant violence. Now everyone present is in great danger.